Jesse Waters, Get It Together, Troubling Tales from the Liberal Fringe. Welcome to a provocative exploration of societal dynamics presented in Jesse Waters, Get It Together, Troubling Tales from the Liberal Fringe. This book summary delves into Waters' journey of understanding people with unconventional beliefs, many of whom he views as projecting personal struggles onto society. As Waters navigates through conversations with diverse individuals, from nihilistic academics to fervent activists, he uncovers the deep-seated issues that drive their ideologies. Brace yourself for an engaging read that challenges conventional perceptions, as Waters questions these figures' motivations and critiques their societal impacts. Through empathetic and candid dialogues, Waters reveals how past traumas often morph into political extremism, urging the need for personal accountability over societal upheaval. Dive in to uncover fascinating narratives and poignant reflections on the nature of personal and societal responsibilities.
Unpacking human complexity. At 43, Jesse Waters found himself facing an unexpected reality: severe back pain necessitating emergency surgery. The stark revelation from his doctor shifted his understanding. Prolonged sitting, a demand of his career at Fox News, was wreaking havoc on his body. Post-surgery, as he endured painful walks to aid his recovery, Waters' perspective on life and those around him began to transform. Observing fellow pedestrians struggling with discomfort, he experienced a newfound empathy that drove him to explore human experiences more deeply. Waters' professional path was already well-trod with the dust of unconventional interviews. He engaged with individuals marginalized by society, whose eccentricities and radical ideologies were often a product of chaotic childhoods and personal trauma. Where he once judged, he now found himself curious and sympathetic. These engagements revealed to him a recurring theme: personal struggles profoundly shaped these individuals' worldview and, by extension, their actions. Delving deeper, Waters conducted interviews with those whose beliefs were diametrically opposed to his own: nihilists, activists with bold agendas, and those seeking attention through controversy. Through genuine listening, he uncovered a pattern: these severe personal issues often manifest as societal projections, compelling individuals to impart their unresolved conflicts onto broader communities. Waters posits that such personal dilemmas shouldn't dictate societal norms or upheaval. He suggests a personal responsibility approach, where the cycle of inherited trauma can be broken by striving to offer better futures for the next generation. The realization was clear: under every radical belief or extreme action lurked a history of pain or neglect. Waters challenges the notion of allowing personal grievances to skew societal harmony, urging a cooler perspective, and advocating for better parenting as a salve to inherited emotional legacies. This insight is a significant takeaway from Waters' exploration into human complexities, urging that despite differing ideologies, mutual understanding can bridge divides. The narrative sets the stage for encounters with intriguing personas, beginning with a man named Joe, who offers unexpected insights and deepens Waters' understanding of his fellow humans. Through each interaction, there is a persistent call to patience and understanding as a conduit to community cohesion. Open borders philosophy. Picture a political science professor advocating for open borders, not the rebellious youth stereotype, but Joe, a seemingly ordinary man from Boston. With a background in a middle-class Catholic family and working at the University of Toronto, Joe is far from typical in his views. As a respected political philosopher, he champions the idea that borders should be open, allowing people to settle wherever they choose. The central tenet of Joe's argument is moral: society lacks the ethical right to restrict movement or threaten individuals seeking a new life. In a spirited debate with Waters, a skeptic of Joe's ideology, contrasting philosophies become apparent. Waters is frustrated by Joe's lack of concrete solutions to societal unfairness and deems his open border ideals impractical. Yet, Joe remains steadfast, with the notion of fairness serving as his moral compass. He urges a continuous reassessment of institutions through the lens of equity, advocating for change where injustice lingers. Curiosity piqued, Waters delves deeper into Joe's motivations, suspecting a personal history influencing his ideals. His probing questions lead Joe to a revelation: suspicions of childhood trauma, possibly at the hands of a priest. This unconfirmed past might explain Joe's disdain for the Catholic Church and his desire to protect the vulnerable. It's this past pain that Waters believes has transformed Joe into a steadfast dreamer. For Waters, Joe's vision, a fair world facilitated by open borders, represents an unattainable ideal. While driven by noble intentions, Joe's focus on a hypothetical equitable society seems disconnected from the tangible realities Waters subscribes to. Through Waters' eyes, this detachment is a common thread among those scarred by past experiences, projecting their internal struggles onto the larger social landscape. Yet, beneath this veneer of impracticality lies a sincere quest for a more just world, undeterred by the shadows of personal history. Breaking free to activism. Meet Emily, a passionate activist driven by the tumultuous past that shaped her. Now in her 30s and residing in the Bronx, New York City, Emily fearlessly champions the Black Lives Matter movement. Her journey into activism began shortly after George Floyd's tragic death, propelling her into the heart of progressive protests across the city. For Emily, issues of racism resonate profoundly, compelling her to leverage her platform in advocacy, despite the complexities of her identity as a white woman acutely aware of her privilege. Emily's current life marks a stark departure from her origins. Raised in a wealthy but emotionally barren and conservative home, Emily's early years were marred by dysfunction and control. Her parents, both mental health professionals, paradoxically imposed a cold, clinical environment on their children. Emily and her sister endured therapy and medication from a tender age, and their father's abusive behavior further compounded their trauma. A pivotal moment in Emily's life came at 14 when her resistance was met with a forced relocation to a boarding school in Utah, where she faced additional abuse and isolation, leaving her with lasting psychological scars. As her life unfolded, Emily found herself in a marriage to a finance professional, echoing her father's values. The union, however, dissolved acrimoniously, propelling her toward a path of self-discovery and activism in New York. This dramatic shift allowed Emily to escape the confines of her past, bringing her new purpose and a sense of belonging within the activist community. For her, Black Lives Matter became the family she never truly had, offering solidarity in a platform for transformation. Emily's connection with investigative journalist Waters becomes a pivotal dialogue, unraveling the motivations behind her intense political stances. As she recounts her tumultuous history, Emily begins to comprehend how her activism against white supremacy is intertwined with deep-seated resentment toward her family. Throughout their conversation, Emily and Waters find unexpected common ground, reflecting Emily's evolving perspective. Amidst the exchange, Emily candidly admits she might even consider supporting Waters politically, a sentiment met with light-hearted banter about voting patterns and assumptions. In this interplay of personal narrative and political awakening, Emily does not merely resist injustice but also seeks healing from the wounds of her past. Her story is a testament to the complexity of human motivations, revealing how personal trauma can inform public action. As Emily emerges from her conversation with Waters, she stands as a symbol of resilience, fueled not just by ideology but by a deeply personal quest for change and belonging. Hurt or heal? When exploring the complexities of human behavior, Jesse Waters delves into the lives of various individuals across the nation. Through candid conversations with people like Doc, a veteran of drug experimentation advocating for decriminalization, and Naya, a self-identified polyamorous lesbian trans woman with a unique identity as a wolf, Waters paints a vivid picture of those living on society's fringes. Many of these individuals, despite differing lifestyles and beliefs, share a history marked by challenging childhoods and unresolved traumas. Doc's chaotic upbringing, marked by frequent school changes, indifferent parenting, and a tumble through foster care, led him to alcoholism by age 16. Similarly, Naya navigates her complex identity and past trauma without linking them directly to her gender expression. Such stories reveal a common thread, an assertion that society, rather than the individual, is the root of their troubles. Waters approaches these narratives with genuine empathy, balancing his compassion with a critical question about the role of personal responsibility. He challenges the notion that one's issues should become society's burden, urging self-reflection instead of blaming societal structures. The metaphor of a 2-year-old joyfully demolishing a brick tower contrasts sharply with the destructive tendencies of discontent adults aiming to upend a civilized society. Despite its flaws, Waters sees the United States as fundamentally more united than divided, emphasizing shared human desires such as love, understanding, and survival. His interactions reveal that while individuals may disagree or hold differing ideologies, the commonality of human experience often bridges these divides. He stresses empathy and understanding but draws a distinct line at actions that harm society at large. Acknowledging everyone's struggles and need for healing, Waters insists on personal accountability and the cessation of spreading one's inner turmoil outward. The essence of Waters' message is a call to introspection and responsibility. He urges those grappling with their own pain not to externalize it at the expense of the collective well-being. Waters' overarching plea is simple: as each of us strives for a better existence, let us refrain from burdening others with our battles, fostering a society where healing outweighs hurt.
Jesse Waters' Get It Together offers an intriguing look at the complexities of human beliefs and their societal ramifications. Through his encounters with individuals like Joe, the open borders professor, and Emily, the fervent BLM supporter, Waters examines how personal histories and traumas shape political ideologies. Despite ideological differences, Waters fosters empathy, demonstrating the potential for dialogue across divides. The central takeaway is clear: while understanding others is crucial, it is equally important to recognize and address personal issues without projecting them onto society. Waters' narrative underscores the value of self-awareness and responsibility, advocating for maintaining societal stability rather than dismantling it due to personal grievances. Ultimately, this book challenges readers to reflect on their own beliefs and encourages a more grounded approach to personal and collective problems.